Gene Watson, country entertainer.
So, what does the word country music mean to you these days? What do you see when you look out on Nashville, and how do you reflect that to what you know as country music growing up?
Well, when I look out on Nashville, what I see don't necessarily reflect what I am.
Yeah.
I've been in the business 54 years, and I started out doing traditional country music. I'm talking about like George Jones, Ray Price,
the real stuff.
Frizzell, yeah,
The real deal.
the real stuff, and I've pretty much stuck with it throughout my career. But what's going on in Nashville now don't reflect that. So even though I do all my recording, all my operations right in Nashville, I was born, raised, and still make my home in Texas.
Yeah.
And I still do traditional country music the way I started out doing it, as traditional as I know how.
And that's the way I look at it. That's real country music.
Yeah.
It feels now that it's become more, well, I don't even know what it is. It's pop, it's rock and hip hop.
Does anybody know?
Yeah.
But I mean, and don't get me wrong. I'm not saying hey, I'm right and you're wrong or anything like that.
But there is a formula to it.
Yeah, this, I think, and there's not too many of us traditionalists left. They're really passing away, really too quick. But when whatever it is you hear on FM radio anymore, when it came out and really started getting strong, well, they just shut down our category as far as country music.
Or they call you Americana now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of a kitchen sink.
Yeah, or old country. They can label it any way they want to. But there's no chart in Billboard magazine for what I do anymore.
What do you think about that? I mean,
I don't like it.
Yeah.
We're the ones that paved the way, for... And I say we because I came along after Jones and Haggard and Price and Frizzell and so many others, Billy Walker, Gene Shepard, Little Jimmy Dickens,
Kitty Wells, all the good stuff.
Hey, they paved the way for me, but all I did was grab the flag and start carrying it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying is it kind of bothers me when they, whatever it is they call country now, they have all these award shows and they honor, Merle Haggard passing away and they honor other folks passing on. It's like, well, they'd be rolling over in their grave if they saw what you call country music, and you're honoring. You know what I mean?
It's true, but I mean, what can you do? I mean, it's and don't get me wrong. There's some good artists out there too. There's some artists out there that do some traditional country music, and man, I think they're great. Joe Diffie's one of the greatest acts I know. Billy Currington, great artist. He's one of the new ones. Did you
ever listen to Sturgill Simpson or Chris Stapleton, any of those other folks?
I was listening to Chris when he was with the Steel Drivers.
Yeah, exactly. Fantastic.
And I don't know what happened, but they've got to make a living too.
But it seems like you found a lot of support in the bluegrass circles these days.
Well, I have, and I owe a lot of thanks, of course, to my friend Ronnie Reno, who was one of the first ones that invited me to a bluegrass festival, and that kind of planted the seed. And then Rhonda Vincent, we did some shows together, and the first thing you know, I'm doing some bluegrass festivals, and I don't mind telling you, it hadn't been all hoops and glory and balloons and all that, because and I appreciate bluegrassers because they're a certain type of people, and I can understand that. And for them to accept me and my country band, man, that says loads to me, and I appreciate it. But Rhonda's had a lot to do with me doing bluegrass festivals too.
I see a lot of people that love traditional country. I hate calling it traditional country because it's country. It's real deal country. But because it's almost like you push it to the side if you call it tradition, you know what I mean? Because like the real deal is the real deal. And when I see you, that's the real deal. But with that said, I noticed there's a lot of people that love traditional country music that have wandered over to bluegrass because there's a lot of those elements in songwriting and performance, studio tricks, things like that you find in bluegrass. Are you seeing that as a performer about how it's been kind of maybe a pretty seamless transition into some of these different circles?
Well, Really, that's a good question, and I haven't seen that much of it because I don't see that many country artists per se, that what you might say convert, to bluegrass. But that's not to say that they don't enjoy getting out and doing a show with the bluegrassers and sharing the talent and all that. I think bluegrass and what I do go hand in hand. Because I've recorded some of my stuff that I've recorded was recorded in the bluegrass field. Mm-hmm. The Osborne brothers recorded Paper Rosie, and 14 Carat Mind was recorded bluegrass. A lot of the songs, not a lot, but a few of the songs that I recorded country broke out in the bluegrass field too, and that's just a big compliment to me.
What is your definition of country music?
Well, I don't think a definition I don't think you could define it, by giving you a definition. I think country music to me is something that tells a story. I like to tell your life story. If I can tell your life story, something happened to you, I got your attention. I like to tell stories that people can relate to. I like to sing like it came out, about loves, about losing, about drinking, about mama, about all the rest of the things.
And human condition.
Yeah, and yet still keep it steel guitar, country, fiddle, piano, it's an expression more than a definition,
Yeah. Well, with George and Merle passing in the last few years, a lot of people could say that you might be the last real country singer out there.
I've been told that.
What do you think about that? Do you see it as a responsibility or a torch-bearing thing? What do you think about that?
I don't see my life changing either way, career-wise, because Ray Price told me before he passed away, he said, Watson, you're the one that can keep it going. Now that, I felt like loaded me up, as a responsibility. Even though I appreciated it so much and took it as the greatest of compliments. Ray Price just don't hand out something like that to anybody. But then I've had so many people come through the autograph line and say, you're just about all we got left, But the plus side to that, though, is you're one of the few people I could say that still has their voice intact. Well,
all those years of touring, it's still there.
Yeah, the good Lord gave me the voice. I mean, he can take it away anytime he wants to. I just try to take care of it as well as I can. And all of the things that we go through putting on shows, we'll have a good sound system, a bad sound system, a good sound crew, a bad sound crew, and we have to work with whatever's there. Yeah. Like today, we won't get a sound check. I mean, we jump up there and start flailing, and hope that we got a man out there that's running the speakers that know what we're supposed to sound like.